Am I the asshole for being rude to a coworker? I'm 25F. This involves a group of 4 lady coworkers between 23F-40F, so one of the ladies we'll call A just had a baby not too long ago and she was showing the other ladies, we'll call them B and C, pictures on her phone. I was walking from one of the offices to the main room and they were grouped together blocking the doorway, and I just said excuse me. A turns to me and says hi and asks if I want to see pictures of her baby. I replied not right now. Thank you. All 3 of them look at me like I sneezed on them during COVID. B then asks, you don't like babies? I responded, no. I just don't really have an interest in them or kids in general, but congratulations A, and B then says, oh god, you're not one of those people whose whole personality is hating kids, are you? I just kind of stared at her and asked, do you wanna see my new weapons and armor I just built on Skyrim? She looked so bewildered and said no. What does that have to do with anything? I responded, oh. Are you one of those people whose whole personality is hating video games? A and C started laughing, but B looked really embarrassed, and I overheard her call me a bitch as I was walking away. Am I the asshole? Edit: I am asking for judgment on my comment to B, not on the fact I didn't look at A's baby pictures. I didn't care. She just shrugged. B is who I am asking judgment for. It may come as a shock to some, but I have said no thank you to baby pictures several times and nobody gave me grief before. Just said alright and we moved on. So I felt comfortable saying no thank you here. Edit: 2 alright, I'm not the R, and 99.99 of people calling me one are saying it's for not looking at the baby pictures. Not what I actually was asking for advice on. If anyone wants to see the armor, feel free to message me or add me on Snap. Lol, I'm gonna leave this post now. Thank you to everyone for their time. Have a good night. Not the asshole. Well done, and also much nicer than saying oh god. You're not one of those people whose whole personality is wanting kids. Are you? The way you did it. It sounds like you'll be friends with some of these coworkers. Not the asshole. You were polite and you're not obligated to show an interest in your coworkers' personal lives. What B said to you was uncalled for and you shut her down without even being nasty. She just can't handle having her own hypocrisy pointed out to her. Not the asshole H. Lol. Sounds like the mom in this situation totally got it. Sounds like coworker B has a real bee in her bonnet to me. Don't feel bad for challenging rude behavior. That's not rude. But assuming you hate children just because you didn't want to see baby pics isn't. Honestly, I wish people would mind their own business about stuff like this more. I personally skip all baby announcements and photos because I can't have my own biological children. And it's painful. I would have been much more rude than you were to be. Not the asshole. It's 2023, we are allowed not to be interested in having kids or other people's kids. I see people saying you should have just looked at the pictures to be polite, but if you did that it would mean more baby pictures in your future. It would be a waste of your time and A's time. Not the asshole. Well done for such a quick quip and comeback. I wouldn't even say you were rude, she was for calling you a bitch. Not the asshole. B made a snarky comment. You made a snarky comeback. And B gave her best attempt at one back. Your comeback was fantastic and well deserved. Not rude. She was rude. I avoid baby pictures because then I feel like I'm obligated to say what a beautiful baby they are. I'm usually feeling the opposite and don't want to lie. Not the asshole. It wasn't even B's baby. And you weren't distastefully rude. It sounds like I would have just let it go without comment. Now, I would probably just have taken a glimpse at the baby photo. Said very cute. Congratulations. And moved on. But that's because I'm scared of conflict. I would have been more interested in Skyrim pics. Though. Lol. Oh my, I feel you. I'd rather pet a dog than hold and COO at a baby. People think that because we are female and even had children that we go gaga on all babies. A colleague had a baby and everybody was going nuts around the little thing. I showed minimal interest congratulating the new mom, and when asked if I wanted to hold it I just said no. It was like I had spat on the Pope or something. Not the asshole LMAO. No, not the asshole. B needs to mind her own business. It wasn't even her baby. Not the asshole. You were at work and you were walking from one place to another and they had you blocked. Even if you wanted to look at the photos. Not right now. Thank you was the perfect response at that moment. Lol. Not the asshole. Great comeback comment. You're allowed to not like babies. I don't either and pass whenever someone asks me to look or say cool. Congrats. Seems like I wasn't offended. And if B can't take a rude judgy comment, maybe she shouldn't make rude judgy comments to other people. So it was a little rude. But not the asshole, and she definitely deserved it. Everyone else thought it was funny too, since she had just said something similar to you. So IDK what her problem is. Sorry, the fourth coworker. D was just off to the side and had gone back to working after I had said excuse me. She was just there for the pictures. Not the asshole. She was rude both for her statement accusation and for blocking the hallway. Not the asshole. You're allowed not to want to see a pic of someone's kid. I'm a parent and yeah, I might feel a little miffed if you said no, but that's on me, not you. If I made a rude remark to you, then I'd absolutely deserve one back. Not the asshole. You gave her her own comeback. That's perfect. Not the asshole. Not everybody wants to look at baby pictures personally. I adore babies. Do I want to look at baby pictures of people I'm not really close to? Not really. After the 100th picture, I kinda make jokes like, oh look, the baby's face looks annoyed that another picture is being taken again. Info: what weapon and armor? Not the asshole. If she can't take the snark, she shouldn't dish it out. Not the asshole. You never made an unnecessarily mean comment about kids, so she had no reason to accuse you of being one of those children haters. You were just getting even with her. Not the asshole. What if you are unable to have children and have tried numerous times unsuccessfully? It could cause some painful memories to flash up. BTDT with my wife. We went through 4 miscarriages together. Took a long time to get past. I would look at Babe and at Skyrim equipment. Just like I look at every F thing PPL I know care about. I give them my 5 minutes. Listen and look how awesome something is to them. And I move on. BC human connection and letting PPL express their love and excitement and happiness. Not the asshole. I don't think you were rude at all. If I were you, I wouldn't let any of this bother you. You approached it in a well-mannered way and gave B a taste of their own medicine. Given from her response, I think she realized her mistake. I think your response was pretty genius about Skyrim. And to be honest, the baby pictures, too. Maybe you were a little asshole why in your reply, but it got the point across. For all they knew, there could have been a personal reason for you not to want to see the baby and their comment hurt you. Am I the asshole for ditching guy at music festival? I was dating a guy for about 6 weeks, at certain points tumultuous during that time. I had planned to go to a music festival with my friends in Napa independently. The day before, he said he got a last-minute ticket with some friends and asked if he could stay with me. I said, okay. The day of the concert we were in touch, and I was excited for him to meet my friends. I told him where we were camped out at the festival so he could join, but he stuck with him friends and never met up with us. Fast forward 6-7 hours. Still has not tried to find us. During the very last performer it was dark and cold at this point. He finally texts that he wants to meet up. At this point some of my friends had already left, they had given up on meeting this guy and the rest of us were getting ready to leave. I texted back saying to just stick with his friends. I was pissed at this point and felt like he had no interest in actually hanging out and solely using me for a place to crash. I didn't want to even see him at this point, let alone spend the night together. He immediately responds saying he needs a place to stay and he can't stay with his friends, and that he was confused. The concert is a bit over an hour drive from where we live, so worst case scenario it's an Uber back. TLDR ditched a guy at music festival after he ignored me all day, leaving him with his friends without a ride back 1 hour away from home. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. He wanted to use you for a place to crash and that's it. Not the asshole. He was just trying to use you for a free ride, free accommodations, and maybe a no. If he had good intentions and was a good person, he would have tried meeting up with you over the course of several hours. Someone who is over 30 should be able to do better. Red flags here. Run. Going against the grain and saying not the asshole. I would expect someone I'm dating to actually spend time with me at the same festival we're attending, especially if we're going to stay with each other for the night. It's rude to just blow off your significant other and use them for housing. Not the asshole. After reading your comments, yes, there should have been more communication, and honestly both of you are too old for this level of just want to crash with you instead of hang out with you. All that said, if it's a 6-week-old relationship, you owe him the exact same courtesy he gave you, which is absolutely nothing. Dump the leech and move on. Info. Was he ever aware of the plan to meet your friends? Or was this just wishful thinking on your part? Info. Did he ask you to crash at your place? Or did he ask to come to the festival with you? If he asked to crash with you at your place and you ditched him without letting him stay there, you're the asshole. If he asked as if wanting to go to the festival with you and he ditched you, not the asshole. I have a feeling he may have asked the former and you felt they asked the latter. This is kind of hard. He said he got with some friends and only asked if he could stay with you. Was there a prior discussion to meet up at the festival? Or was this something you hoped to have happened? If there was no agreement before, then you're the asshole. And if there was, you're not the asshole. But we need more background here. People in their early 30s going to a music festival and fighting LMFAO. This belongs on the teenagers sub. I can't tell if he was dragging ass when you wanted leave or if this was just you being petty at feeling ditched. Otherwise maybe I can understand maybe the two of you weren't very clear and had different ideas of what the plans were. But if he was taking too long to get to you and you had to leave, then not the asshole. If you just left BC, you were mad, you're the asshole. Not the asshole. Don't move heaven and earth for someone who can't be bothered to cross the street for you. If he was with his pals all day, let them take him home. I mean, seriously. Why could he not go home the same way he got there? It's not like Scotty beamed him up to the music festival. Let whoever brought him there bring him back. I'm glad he's an ex. As a frequent festival goer, I could see myself taking acid and then getting so fucked up distracted by everything going on around me that I forget to even glance at my phone. But if that happened, by the end of the night when I finally hit you up, I would be profusely apologizing and explaining exactly what happened. To just hit you up like everything is all good definitely makes it seem like he's just using you for a place to crash. Not the asshole. You're the asshole. He asked for a place to stay, not to go to the music festival with you. He had his own plans with his own friends. As did you. There shouldn't have been any conflict here. You expecting him to ditch his friends is totally hypocritical because you yourself weren't excited to meet his friends or trying to find them. You're not the main character. This is not how relationships or reality work. Soft, you're the asshole if you didn't tell him your expectations. People have different views of what's appropriate. Overbearing. Too much. Etc. You should have said something before committing. I'll be with my friends all day. But it would be great if we could hang out and for you to meet them. When do you think would be a good time for us to merge groups a bit? Haha. Not the asshole had the same thing happen and wished I left him in hindsight tbh. You're the asshole. He never asked to be included in your festival plans. He asked you if he could crash with you, to which you said yes and afterward made your own plans in your head without telling him your expectations. Meeting for the first time friends is usually something discussed about which you didn't and just expected him to know that you wanted him to after the fact. He is not someone who has known you for a long time at the beginning of relationships. Expectations have to be communicated to the other party. Stop playing it like human decency when you didn't know how to express your wishes. Not the asshole. I'm so tired of people on Reddit preaching communication when I'm sure they don't know how to do that in real life. He could have met up with you at some point instead of directly at the end. This is his fault. It seems like you're the asshole. Did you ever express to him that you'd like for him to meet your friends? It seems like it was clearly expressed that you would be spending the day with your friends and he would be spending the day with his. A simple "hey, let's meet up so you can meet my friends" would have done it. Instead, he's confused because he has no idea what he did wrong. Perhaps just speak up and don't assume. You're the asshole unless you specifically agreed to hang out together. Your post says that you were going with friends. He was going with friends. And he was staying at yours afterwards. That seems a pretty clear-cut situation to me. I guess it might have been fun to meet up at some point, but it seems unfair to decide that your prior agreement hinges on that happening, without doing anything except dropping a few hints. You're the asshole. You should have told him you wanted him to meet your friends. He asked if he could crash with you. You said yes. If you wanted to spend the festival together, you should have said that. Instead, you got mad over something he wasn't aware of and left him stranded. You're the asshole. The day before, he said he got a last-minute ticket with some friends and asked if he could stay with me. I said, okay. He didn't ask, can I hang out with you and then stay with you? Am I the asshole for wanting my BF to cook after he invited more people than planned? Am I the asshole for wanting my BF to cook after he invited more people than planned? My boyfriend and I were supposed to host a dinner for us and another couple we met on vacation. Tomorrow. I'm supposed to be in charge of the cooking. 2 days ago. Before going to work. My boyfriend tells me that he forgot to tell me that he invited our neighbors and their 3 children. I was kinda annoyed he didn't ask me first, but whatever. I said okay. Next time, ask me if I'm okay with it first. After coming home from work the same day, he tells me that he invited 2 of his colleagues and that they'll come with their wives and kids. They have 1 kid each, so that'll make 2 more children. I got upset when he told me this because 1. He invited 6 more people without asking me first. Again. And 2. He told me that I needed to make a different dish for his colleagues' kids because they won't like what I'm planning to cook. I told my boyfriend that he needed to be the one cooking because I didn't want her anymore. He asks me why, as I initially agreed to cook. I said I initially agreed to cook for 4 people, not 15. I added that it'll be easier for him to cook for 15 people anyways because he has his whole afternoon free while I'd be working until 4 p.m. My boyfriend doesn't agree though and thinks it's unfair of me to have agreed to cook just to take it back last minute. I said I'd be okay to help with the kids' food once I come back from work, but he needed to do the rest. He doesn't want to and even threatened to cancel the whole thing if I wasn't cooking. Am I the R there? Should I be the one cooking still, as I was supposed to cook from the beginning? Or is it only fair that he cooks for the additional 11 people he invited? He doesn't want to and even threatened to cancel the whole thing if I wasn't cooking. Sounds like a plan to me. Not the arsehole. Not the arsehole. Also, I'd be super annoyed if a couple invited us to dinner, then all of a sudden it was a huge group, including kids. That just changed the vibe. Threatening to cancel. Girl. At this point he should either cancel, cook himself, order food for everyone. He invited more people after you told him not to do that anymore without checking in with you first. That was deliberate. He wanted to show you who's in control, and now he's trying to make you think you're the one being difficult. If I were you, I wouldn't come home after work. I'd go out to eat somewhere by myself or with friends and spend a nice evening while I reevaluate my relationship. Clearly not the arsehole. Not the arsehole. Tell him, oh, well, I guess it's cancelled then. Do not cook. Don't do the kids' meals. Heck. Don't even stop working at 4. He's either going to cancel and blame you or try and wait you out. People will show up. Nothing will be ready and he'll try to guilt you into cooking. Come on. The kids are hungry. Guaranteed. Not the arsehole. On top of that, it's disrespectful to the original couple invited. An adults-only double date at someone's home is a lot different than jumping into a full-fledged party with 15 people you don't know and multiple children running around. Not the arsehole. He's not considering the work involved cooking for all these extra people. So let him learn. He threatened to cancel. Sounds good. Call his bluff. He sucks. It's clearly a big deal to cook for 11 people, or else he'd be okay doing it. He can also choose to order food and serve it buffet style. Not the arsehole, and you know it. Not the arsehole, the person who adds 11 people to the count without letting their partner, the cook, know ahead of time needs to do all the cooking. The BF is a total AH. Not the arsehole, let him cancel it. Or he can learn how difficult it is to cook for 15 people. Not the arsehole. This is entirely his party. His threat of cancelling is the only idea that seems to work. Not the asshole 4 adults versus 10 adults and 5 children. I have cooked for literally thousands of people at once, and I would look at this request and cook everyone dino nuggets and tater tots if I cooked at all. This was an unreasonable ask, and your boyfriend needs to understand that in no uncertain terms. Not the asshole. You agreed to cook for 4 adults. Not 15 people including picky children that require a different menu. Either he cooks, or you will cook the original menu but only enough for the original 4. The others can watch you eat or divvy up boyfriend's portion. Not the asshole. It's crazy to me that he doesn't realize how different it is cooking for 15 versus 4. Not the asshole. Let him cancel it. Turns out he only likes hosting when he's got a free catering service to do unpaid labor. If it's too much work for him to cook for that giant crowd, why is it not too much to expect you to do it? Not the asshole. He's absolutely an asshole for inviting more people than you agreed on, unilaterally, and expecting to not have to help. They're his guests, not yours. He can cook, especially since he has more time to do so. Or let him cancel. You've got a really selfish and lazy BF. If he were the one cooking, he wouldn't have invited extra people. This is a red flag. How are you expected to cook for that many when you finish at 4 and he isn't going to help at all, even though he has a free afternoon? Major R move on his part. Let him cancel it. Stand your ground. Not the asshole. He invited guests who are expecting only you and your husband. Then he went on to include a couple with 3 children. Did he warn the first couple? They might not even want to attend knowing that. I think he needs to give them a heads up, and yes, he needs to be involved in the cooking. Cooking for 4 vs cooking for 9 is going to be a whole different meal than what was planned. Not the asshole. Take him up on the offer of cancelling the whole thing. Maybe next time he'll consider before volunteering someone else's labor. Not the asshole. Let him cancel it. Not the asshole. This is so ridiculous. Tell him to get hot dogs and hamburgers. Because he has a cookout number of people coming to the party he planned. You're not in any way responsible for feeding 15 people after working all day. His FCK up. He needs to find out. Not the asshole. He's piling all sorts of work on you without the courtesy of asking you first. If it is important to him to entertain 15 people instead of 4, he can coordinate and do the extra work. I would tell him he either cooks or cancels everyone but the original 2 who you agreed to invite. He is a complete jerk to dump this on you. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Being willing to help at all is generous of you. I'd be telling him you'll be arriving at exactly the time that the party starts and he can be responsible for everything including cleanup. He expected to be able to take advantage of you, and you should make it clear that won't fly. Yes. Ask him to cancel. He is the one who invited these extra people. He will look foolish. Keep the plans with the 2 others you made as is. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Let him cancel. Not the asshole. Cancelled sounds good to me. Oh no, he'll cancel the event that he kept changing the number of people of until the last minute. Unless you cook for a small army. Whatever will do as you head off into the sunset to get dinner for 1 at a nice place. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for getting irritated by my husband eating in front of me? I have certain religious dietary restrictions that include not eating certain things and fasting. during certain religious times. My husband doesn't. When I'm required to fast, he thinks it's hilarious to go to my favorite restaurant, get my favorite dish to go, and eat it in front of me. When I tell him he's being mean-spirited, he says that I'm doing it to myself and that I could partake if I really wanted to, and that I shouldn't get irritated with him. I try not to let it bother me, but he does this every time. I usually just leave the room, but then he says I'm being too sensitive. Am I the asshole? Edit. He's religious too, just not the same kind. This also only started a few years ago. Not the asshole, but your title sucks. The issue doesn't seem to be eating when you can't. It's the fact that he is purposely taunting you. He clearly doesn't respect you, your culture, or your religion. Not the asshole. What he is doing is mean-spirited. He's taunting you, and he's enjoying it. That's the opposite of loving behavior. I really like the author Patricia Evans. She has a list of rights in a relationship. The one that I think most applies here is the right to goodwill from the other. Although the right to emotional support is also a good one, also the right to receive a sincere apology for any jokes you find offensive, and the right to encouragement. I'd encourage you to read The Verbally Abusive Relationship by her, and see what you think. Not the asshole, but your husband is a bully. Not only does he disrespect your religious beliefs, he gets his jollies from eating your favorite dishes in front of you when you're fasting. I'd think long and hard about your future with this man. He's openly mocking in a cruel fashion, over and over again, the person who he is supposed to love the most. Not the asshole. Are you with a man who doesn't take your deeply held religious beliefs seriously? It sounds like he's trying to get you to cave in and give it up. Did he get together with you thinking he could convert you? Not the asshole. His actions are mean-spirited. It's not hilarious and you aren't being sensitive. There's absolutely no reason for him to go out of his way for something this simple. And frankly, he lacks the most basic respect. Not the asshole. He's being blatantly disrespectful. I don't particularly like religion, but I also wouldn't treat another person like shit because of it. Find a better husband. You deserve better. Not the asshole. That's really horrible. It's disrespectful and belittling, and he's putting quite an organized effort into it. Are you sure this is the only way in which your husband is deliberately cruel and mocking towards you? Not the asshole, but your husband is. How did you end up married to this inconsiderate guy? Not the asshole. He's extremely immature. I'm not religious in the slightest, but when I visited Egypt during Ramadan, I even tried to hide myself drinking water which was hard as it was over 40 degrees Celsius, and I needed a lot, but it's out of respect. I don't agree with the religion, but I'm not going to disrespect it because, well, to each their own. See, here's the thing. If he was just normally eating, even if it's something you like, then you'd be unreasonable. But what he's doing is purposely flaunting it in front of you. Maybe the first time it could be funny and you could have a laugh. But repeatedly doing it is just asshole behavior on his part. So not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your husband is bullying you and he thinks it's funny. What an absolute tool. Not the asshole. He's trying to hurt you with this behavior, by going way out of his way to do it. Not the asshole. Your husband has the full intention of being tar, because if he loves you or cares about you, he would respect your traditions. Now, I am not saying he can't eat those meals, but being blatantly disrespectful to you by purposefully antagonizing you with them and then making snarky remarks about it is just awful. It is disgusting. People can eat what they want to, but do not be disrespectful about other people's beliefs. Not the asshole. Not following your restrictions and eating what he feels like would be reasonable even if frustrating for you. But repeatedly deliberately going out of his way to get specific food to taunt you and then blaming you for being too sensitive is a major move. Not the asshole. What's he getting out of this? Is showing basic compassion too much to ask? People fast for a variety of reasons. Religion, health, planned surgical procedures, whatever. To intentionally eat your favorite meals when you are restricted from doing so is cruel. Not the asshole. Your husband should be supporting your spiritual journey. He's disrespecting you and your choices. Not the asshole. This is incredibly immature and mean. He is a sadist. Dump him. He is the R. If you were imposing your religious practices on him, you would be the R, but him going to your favorite restaurant just to taunt you is a huge red flag. I'm atheist and there is no way I would stay with someone like that who goes out of their way to mock the faith of another. I may not agree with your religion, but I respect your right to practice it if it makes you happy. Why did you date and then marry someone that's so blatantly disrespectful to you and your religion? I was totally prepared to come in here all how dare because you were trying to force your religious restrictions on someone not of the faith. Then, I actually read the post. Yeah. No. Definitely not the asshole. He is deliberately being an ass and mocking you for your faith. And he needs to stop. What else does he mock, demean, dismiss? Not the asshole, as your husband is being a jerk. Not the asshole. What the hell is going on here? What kind of person does that? It's a very, very vicious thing to do. Your husband should be ashamed of himself, but sadly, it doesn't seem to be the case. I don't know how your relationship with him is in general, but to me it shows a lot about what kind of man he is. I don't think so. He knows you can't have it during that time and purposely goes out his way to get it. Just to eat it in front of you. If he ever gets into a situation, or is in one, where he can't eat a food he really likes, eat lots of it in front of him, I say. Make sure to make comments about how good it is too. I fast a lot too and my husband would never. He eats when I fast but wouldn't do something this mean. Not the asshole. He doesn't just not respect her dietary needs. He doesn't respect her religion. I'm not religious myself, but I respect others' choices in the matter. IBC respect strangers who have different dietary needs due to religion. This man can't be asked to respect his wife. I was all ready to say that this was a her problem based off the title. He's allowed to eat what he wants. But the "you're doing this to yourself" remark was extremely disrespectful to OP and her beliefs. Why is this man your husband? I rarely say this. But you need to divorce him. He has absolutely no respect for you. Literally none. And you are disrespecting yourself by staying married to him. Not the asshole. Your husband is not respecting your religious practices, and I can appreciate this would be a problem for you. While he may think you are too sensitive, I would say he is being too insensitive. You're not doing it to yourself. He is. He could also decide to not be in $. If he wanted to. If you decide to engage, he'd only be doing it to himself. Right? Info. Does your husband like you? Am I the asshole for kicking my bill out of my living room permanently? My still husband's sister 29F and her husband rent out our basement currently. They have the entire basement to themselves. with the exception of my laundry area. They pay $450 a month to be here, and 9/10 they eat their meals with us as well. They chip in very little to food cost, however. They ran into hard times and needed somewhere to go 2 months ago, and we opened our doors to them. Despite me being ready to pop. I had my daughter 2 weeks ago. Since they moved in, my Sil will sleep all day. She works overnight shifts, and my Bill will come upstairs to my living room around 5-6 a.m. and take over the entire space. He will put TV on and then sit there with his laptop playing video games, and he will not leave that living room at all until 8-9 p.m. My Sil even brings his food to him in the living room. The only time he gets up is to go to the bathroom or get himself coffee. Now, he's very much a 50s-style Southern boy. This man does not lift a finger at all and has never so much as boiled water, because that's a woman's job. He doesn't pull that shit with me, but he does when it comes to my Sil, who works all day when he is unemployed due to a back injury. Anyways, I breastfeed my daughter and I refuse to be limited on my own space, so I will absolutely go into the living room and nurse my child. I make sure I'm not exposed damn near every time I go to nurse. He will be like, "I on wanna see dat shit," think Southern hillbilly accent, or when my husband gets home he will say, "She tryna whip her boobies out in my face gain." And I'm honestly so fed up and disgusted with him that I snapped and told him he's not welcome in my living room at all anymore, and he can sit his stupid ass down in the area his wife pays for. Sil is trying to get me to change his mind because they don't have a TV down there and the plug-in doesn't reach his laptop, and sitting on the bed all day hurts his back, but I refuse. I don't care how much discomfort it causes him. He grosses me out and his face makes me want to vomit, and he needs to stay away from me completely. My husband is on my side, per usual. But it's causing issues for my Sil because her husband's just a dick in general. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. This guy is overstepping boundaries. They rent the downstairs. If he wants to play a game or use your TV, he can at least ask. And to give you crap over breastfeeding, he has to go. Also, if he has a back injury, he should either get on disability or find a job that doesn't hurt his back. Not the asshole. They rent the basement space. The living room is your space. He has no business taking up your space and then complaining when you use it as well. Not the asshole. This is no different than if they lived next door and he came over and deposited himself in your space every day. And you're a new mom, congrats. So if he ain't helping out, he needs to get out. An extension cable costs $5. If the bed hurts his back, then he can sit on the floor or buy a chair. Not the asshole. Your house. Your rules. They rent the basement, so he has no business taking over your living room. Give them an end date. Say 3-6 months from now. They're taking advantage of you and your plate is full. Speaking of plates, tell him that food isn't allowed in your living room. That all meals must be eaten in the kitchen. That's the rule in my house. No crumbs or spills on my couch or floors. He sounds like he won't clean it up and you'd have to do it. Not the asshole. They rent the basement, not the living room. Stop allowing them to eat with you. Not the asshole. You should have serious conversation with your Sil. I understand why she would not want him downstairs with her all day while she tries to rest. He sounds like an absolute tosser. But this can go on and cause you distress in your own home with a newborn especially. Not the asshole. You are doing them a favor by letting them stay. Are recovering from having a baby. and deserve to be comfortable in your own home. Bill is a misogynistic R. Tell Sil to find a new place to live ASAP. Not the asshole. They don't rent your whole house. They are paying for the basement. And that's the space they have. End of story. So you should let him be an asshole to you. In your own home. Because he's too useless to buy an extension cord. This guy gives useless a bad name. Not the asshole. It's time to tell Sil that they need to find alternate living arrangements. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You have the right to your own house. That said, you should start working on getting him out. That does not sound like it's getting better anytime soon. Not the asshole. If it's causing issues for your Sil because he's just a dick. It sounds to me like those should be her issues and not anyone else's. I mean, it's not right for her to make it anyone else's issue. Not the asshole. He's not renting your living room. He's renting your basement. It's your house and your child. He can either keep his ass downstairs or shut his mouth. Not the asshole. They rent the basement and have no rights to the rest of the house. He shouldn't even be using that room, much less complaining about anything that happens in there. Be very careful about this situation because this guy sounds like a lifer if he's got cheap rent. And somebody cooking him food he isn't paying for, then I can't see him making any moves to leave your house anytime soon. Not the asshole. Stop feeding him though. Intar. You had more patience than I would have shown. Stand firm. Praise hubby for having your back. Though he should be the one to set boundaries with his sister. My husband is on my side. Per usual. But it's causing issues for my Sil because her husband's just a dick in general. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. They are paying to rent your basement. So that is where he should stay. Nurses earn a decent enough salary that they should also be able to pay for their own food. $450 with no utilities is a bargain. Your Bill is probably receiving some sort of disability pay or unemployment. Maybe this situation is exactly what your Sil needs to make her realize that she would be better off without this jerk. So he's a check notes basement dwelling neckbeard. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You've tried to help them and he's been taking advantage of your kindness. Not the asshole. I'd forbid him from coming upstairs at all. He can stay down there and rot. Talk to a lawyer. Depending where you are, they may have already been there long enough you cannot get rid of them. Come to Jesus meeting now. Lay down the rules. No discussion. It is seriously past time for them to go. Their mess is of their own making. And they are doing nothing to fix it. It sounds like you need to evict the both of them. Your Sil is aware he is in your is freaking serving him lunch on your couch. You, my dear, are his babysitter, so he is out of Sil's hair. You're doing the least sexual thing ever. In your own damn home. Nursing a newborn isn't something that should be a dirt, shameful secret. I think it might be time for them to move on if he doesn't want to see that shit. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your living room isn't part of his lease and he didn't pay to use your TV. An extension cord should solve his problems of reaching the laptop. Not the asshole. He has back pain but does nothing but playing video games sitting on a couch. He's faking it and is a terrible R. Remove him from your life. Would I be the asshole if I don't want to attend to my boyfriend's heavenly birthday party? My boyfriend of 8 years got into a car accident this summer. He was in a coma for several weeks before he passed away from the injuries. He was my first love and soulmate, and I'm still grieving and finding it hard to get through each day. His birthday is next Friday, and his friends and family are planning to give him a heavenly birthday party. My boyfriend was a happy and cheerful guy who loved to have fun and was very social with everyone. And so his friends want to throw a real college-type party with loud music and drinks and dancing. I don't feel like I'm ready for that just yet. It's only been a month since his passing, and it still feels like I haven't woken up from the nightmare. I'm still not sure what's better: to be distracted or let myself sit in the sadness. All I know is that I want to spend the day alone. I want to keep things simple and revisit some of our favorite places or do something we used to do together. I want to bake him his favorite cake. Maybe look at some photos and light him a candle. I want to visit his grave and tell him how much I still love him and miss him. I've told his friends and family that I don't feel comfortable with the idea of having a party like that it's way too soon for me. I told them that they can have a party if they want, but that I won't be there. They argued that my boyfriend wouldn't want me to be sad all the time, that he'd want me to have fun and throw him a big and noisy party, and that I'm just selfish and disrespectful. Would I be the asshole for not going? Not the asshole. This party might be the perfect way to grieve for some, but that does not mean it has to be right for you. I am very sorry for your loss. Not the asshole at all. Grief is so personal. And yours is obviously very raw. I can't believe they called you selfish. After a month I am so angry for you. A friend of mine lost her partner 10 years ago. She's since married and has a little girl. But every year on the anniversary of his death, she takes the day off and leaves her family and does exactly what you're planning to do. Her grief has eased, but she still needs that time. I'm sorry for your loss. Not the asshole. Aside from the idea that a heavenly birthday party just sounds creepy, you are still grieving, and having a party isn't something you want to do. Don't do it. I'm very sorry for your loss. My boyfriend wouldn't want me to be sad all the time. This is the worst kind of manipulative BS that people use to justify things or coerce people in the wake of a death. And I hate it. I don't think your family are consciously trying to manipulate you. But it's still a shitty thing to say, even if it's common and somehow socially accepted. Them wanting to celebrate your BF by having a party in his memory is valid. And you preferring to grieve privately is also valid. Not the asshole. Would be nah if not for the manipulation above. You are definitely not the asshole. Sorry for your loss. Everyone has their own ways and timelines to deal with grief. Given you say it's only a month, it's just so recent, and it's understandable that all of this is so soon for you. What you had plans for his B-Day is perfect, and you should stick to it. Not the asshole. I'm so sorry for your loss. It's only been a month. Do what you feel is best for you. Not at all. Everyone grieves differently, and you have the right to do what feels best for you, just like they have the right to do what feels best for them. 4 weeks is not a lot of time, and I don't blame you at all for not being up for a big rager. Sending you love and prayers of comfort, heart. Absolutely not. You have every right to grieve in a way that honors the life of your loved one. And that looks different for everyone. You should not feel obligated to take part in activities that do not feel right to you. You should also not be judged or feel pressure from others to express grief in a certain way. It's understandable that his family and friends view this as a way to lift his spirits and to come together in celebration. But there are many other ways to express grief and honor his memory. And if you don't want to attend the party, that is your prerogative. Not the asshole. You need to take care of you. Arguing about what your BF would want is kind of cheap and pointless because since he isn't here, anyone can claim anything they want about what he would say won't do. And you're the one that makes the decisions for your self-care. And even if your BF was still around, that would not change. Not the asshole. What a situation. The cake idea sounds amazing. And visiting Yal's hangout spots sounds great too. Get yourself some closure and peace. If your boyfriend was a good person, he wouldn't want you to be sad. But he would understand that you need time to grieve. He would want what was best for you. And he wouldn't be upset that you are still mourning. His friends and family are grieving in their own way. And it is 100% okay if you don't grieve the same way. YWNBTA. You have no condolences. And I wish you all the best heart. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I'm so sorry for your devastating loss. Much love. You aren't at the stage of grieving where you can put on a party face yet. You just tell those guys that you are happy for them, but want to celebrate his birthday quietly in your own heart this year. And that your boyfriend would understand how your heart works better than anyone. First of all, so sorry for your loss. Not the asshole. Everyone grieves differently. How you want to spend the day is your choice and you should do what you want to do. They can grieve how they want. It always boggles my mind that people think you can get over a heavy loss like this in a matter of weeks or months and expect you to move on just like that. Take time for yourself to heal and don't feel ashamed to go to counseling to help you through this. YWB. Not the asshole. You have the right to grieve how you need to. And for however long you need to. This was very recent. So it's completely understandable if you don't feel ready. My boyfriend was a happy and cheerful guy who loved to have fun and was very social with everyone. Because of the person he was. I think it's fine to have a party like this to celebrate his life. However, nobody should be giving you a guilt trip for not attending. That's where they've crossed the line in our territory. I'm so sorry for your loss. Please take care of yourself. And remember that includes mental health. Not the asshole. My partner passed in October. For his birthday in March. His mom, brother and I got together and had cake. It's definitely going to be a hard day and you should be able to spend the day doing whatever you want. No one should tell anyone else how to grieve. Also, I hate the platitudes. He'd want you to be happy, etc. Of course you know that. But that doesn't make the pain go away. My thoughts are with you. So sorry for your loss. Not the asshole. How dare they force their wants on someone still grieving. I was in the same situation as you. I allowed myself to be bullied into it. To this day, it is a huge regret. They have zero right to tell you how to grieve this death. You know who is selfish and disrespectful. Them. Not the asshole. It's only been a month. You've barely scratched the surface of grief in this time frame. Your friends are tar for putting words in your BF's mouth when he isn't around to confirm or deny. And for telling you to be happy while you are grieving the very recent death of your love. Am I the asshole? For not being an active grandparent? I am 47, have a son Jake M26 who has his own son Mike M5. Jake's mother and I only had a short-term relationship and it was an accidental pregnancy. To be blunt, I never wanted to be a parent. Particularly not at 21. However, Jake's mother did and it wasn't my decision. Although we have always kept the peace. Things have always been icy between us due to that. However, I always tried to do right by Jake. I would have him every other weekend and for a month during the summer. Would do my best to deliver on anything he asked of me. Treated him kindly and tried to be a good father. Then at a certain point, his mother married a guy Jake hated, and I had him move in with me once he was 13. I won't lie. I wasn't cut out to be a parent. I love Jake. But I just hated parenting. I did it anyway since he was my son. We have a very good relationship. And I've never shirked any responsibility to him. Jake also became a father at 21. However, he was all for it and is happily married to Mike's mother. I also got him into my electrician's union and had him set up on some good jobs. So, he was on much better footing than I was for a child. Back then, we had a long talk and I told him, Jake, being a parent is a very different life. It is hard, exhausting and on a day-to-day basis. You don't really get to do what you want to do very much. It will be a very long time before you don't have that kind of responsibility anymore. Then the conversation turned to how I'd help him. I told him no. I am retired from parenting. I am turning back to my own life. He has his own home, union job, is engaged, and adult enough to decide to have a baby. He's the adult now. He's the parent. I'll be around and if there are any emergencies, obviously I'll do what I can. But I won't be an active grandparent. I've largely held to it. I have been doing a lot of travel. I have a GF. Hobbies and to be blunt, I'm doing all the things I didn't get to do in my 20s. Do I see Jake and his family? Yes. However, I rarely agree to babysit. Jake resents that I don't go to Mike's games. They tend to conflict with my weightlifting club and that I'm pretty hands-off with Mike. Things came to a head last week when Mike had a baseball tournament and I refused to go because I had plans to take a scuba class with my GF, which admittedly could be rescheduled. I didn't tell Jake this, but I spent so many Saturdays bored out of my skull watching Little League when Jake was little. I always cheered loudly, was crazy supportive and never let on that it was like watching paint dry. But this is no longer my responsibility. So I told him, Jake, I spent 20 years parenting. That's enough. He then yelled at me that I am always jetting around, playing like a teenager and not putting him first. I told him that no, I wasn't. I did that for 20 years to get him on his feet as an adult. I've done that and can go back to prioritizing my own life. What I am reading from this is that you knew you were not cut out to be a parent. You feel you have done your duty and are now determined to do everything you feel you missed out on. You can do whatever you like and whether you are tar or not. Your actions will have consequences. But only time will tell if you find you regret your actions or not. I know you said you hung up the parent hat. But that is a brutal and heartbreaking thing to put into practice. He has a kid at the same age you did. But for the first 13 years, you only had him for twice a month. Plus an additional month. So that's 78 days per year you had him. You only took on more parenting work after his mother remarried. So you have what? 5 years of constant parenting. Info reading your post's comments. It sounds like you've decided to quit being a parent. Does this mean when asked, you'll tell someone you don't have a son, grandkids, or will you be honest and say you have them but you don't consider yourself a parent because you didn't feel like being an active father anymore? You might not be tar, but you're ruining your relationship with your son by essentially telling I don't care about being actively involved in your life. I've already done the bare minimum expected of me and I won't do more. Do you want him to go no contact with you? Because that's the direction this is heading in. You're the asshole. I wouldn't consider going to an occasional little league game or going to the zoo with your son and grandson parenting more like being a loving grandparent. Then again, if that's all you did for the first 13 years of your son's life, I suppose you would consider that parenting. Being a parent never stops, my dude. You're entitled to free time, but you can't just tell him you've checked out of parenting. My question is simply this: how would you feel if someone you loved told you that they never really loved you and that they were finished with you? You may not have chosen to be a father, but neither did your son choose you to be his father. He had no choice either. Now you are punishing him for something he didn't do. You think you've missed out on life, but really you're just choosing to miss out on love. If you've already decided, why even ask? Nah. It's your life, so live it how you want. I don't think Jake's expectations are that unreasonable. Though, you are a pretty terrible father now. Parenthood isn't a job that you retire from. You just basically told your son you don't love him and his son. Good job. You now have no family. Info: is this antisocial sentiment limited to your son and grandson? Or do you generally struggle to give any shits about people? Info: as a 21-year-old, were you not aware of where babies come from? You're the asshole for being an R. Just tell your kid you hate him and want nothing to do with him and his kid. Then you can go and be selfish and forget you were ever a parent. You clearly posted this so you could argue with people on Reddit. Lol, just leave them already, ya deadbeat. Tears of joy, tears of joy, tears of joy. I just think that maybe you should go on therapy. You're the asshole. You're holding your son accountable for you having to be his father. You had no problem getting his mother pregnant, but then decided it wasn't fun anymore when shit got real. You don't deserve a relationship with Jake or Mike, and I'm sure your selfish and smug attitude will shrug it off like that's his choice. Oh well. Enjoy your nursing home. You're the asshole. My jaw dropped at all your replies. I'm so sorry how resentful you are of your son and having to be responsible for your actions. Getting a woman pregnant. Parenthood doesn't stop at 18. You set him up with a job and a house. Job well done. Not really sure if you're the asshole. But I'm not really sure that asking you to go to a baseball tournament is asking you to parent again. You're an adult. You do you. But these two things are not the same. He's not asking you to be a parent. He's asking you to be a grandparent. And you're going to miss everything. How sad. You're the asshole. You were a father at 21. Full-time parent at 34. You had your kid twice a month and 1 month a year for your 20s. You didn't miss out on your 20s at all. The truth is the truth. And if you don't give a shit about Jake or Mike, and aren't going to be there, yeah, that's an asshole move. But it's better to be honest than lead Jake on. You're the asshole. You didn't pull your weight as a dad. How is being an active grandparent being a full-time parent? Am I the asshole for taking my little cousin out with me and my friend after nobody attended his birthday party? I had plans to hang out at an arcade with my friend Alex, also 16M, not his real name, at 2 p.m. Meanwhile, my 7-year-old cousin's birthday party was scheduled from 12:00 to 5:30. While waiting for my hangout time with Alex, I decided to help my aunt with the preparation, especially with the cake and cupcakes and setting up the snacks on the table. But honestly, The best part was spending time with my adorable little cousin. We were both super hyped up for his party. But brew, the fact that absolutely nobody showed up for his party is fucking insane. He waited alone, not RLY. I was there. But aside from me there was none of his friends for a whole hour. And all the decorations, treats, and snacks were just sitting there untouched. Seeing him overwhelmed with negative emotions made me sad. I didn't want this day to be ruined for him, so I took matters into my own hands and called up Alex. And asked if we could go to the arcade earlier and bring my cousin along. We had an amazing time there and he ended up feeling so much better. When we returned home with my cousin though, my mom and aunt were yelling at me, claiming that I had messed up. They insisted that my cousin would have had a better time with family. Look, I get it. We would have all spent quality family time together. But in that moment, all I wanted was to ensure that my cousin's special day wasn't completely ruined. He had an absolute blast at the arcade. And I genuinely don't see how I'm the one in the wrong here. BTW. My little cousin doesn't have many friends and he invited all the people he felt comfortable with, including his best friends, so you can just imagine how heartbroken he is. So like, am I the asshole? Did I actually mess up by making my cousin tag along with me and my friend? Edit. Yes. I asked permission from an adult. I asked my mom if it was okay before leaving and she was totally fine with it and told me she'd inform my aunt. However, when I came back she switched up real fast and both of them started yelling at me. Not the asshole. You did your cousin a huge favor. You're an amazing superstar. You did all you could to change the narrative of what would be a birthday to forget. Otherwise, you created a good memory to replace the sadness that would follow him for a very long time. So sad your family didn't agree. Make yourself a superhero avatar. You are the best in humanity. As somebody who went through exactly this, you're not the asshole. I still remember how depressing it was and how alone I felt. My mom and her friend took me out the next day and that helped, but I will never forget the way that day made me feel. Not the asshole. Your poor little cousin, what a traumatic moment. I think you did the right thing by distracting him and going to do something fun with his cool older cousin. I bet he'll never forget it. That said, I would have at least told the rest of the family coming. No offense to your family, but a family gathering isn't nearly as cool to a kid as what you did for him. I'd think they would see that. Take the hit from the family knowing you saved the day for a kid. Not the asshole. The only thing wrong is not talking to other family members involved. Just to let them know. I would also have asked grown-ups if I could get my friends over to celebrate and play with the kid. Even more, keep being awesome with your cousin. You have created a key memory and hopefully a friend for life. Not the asshole, but your mom sure is the R for saying yes and then not backing you up when you came home. You asked first before you took him. The fault lies with her. That said, ask your aunt directly next time. Not the asshole. You're a damn fine person. Not the asshole. But I'm confused by he would have had a better time with his family. What family? His mom and his aunt. Your mom. There was no mention of other family. Or did they show up later? And if so, why did they show up more than an hour after the party was supposed to start? Most importantly, your cousin had a good time. Next time ask the parents though. That was not the smartest move. Oh my god. NTA. You seem sweet beyond belief. The adults around you seem to go, "Ah well. We can just have a family get-together," completely ignoring that this very small child was completely abandoned by friends on his birthday. A special day with 2 older kids was the loveliest thing. You are kind and you are a good kid. Be proud of yourself. For sure not the asshole. But info, please tell me your cousin didn't hear your mom and aunt yelling at you about it. That would just make it so much worse. I know 100 that your little cousin felt awesome going with his cool older cousin and friend. Felt like one of the guys and had a lot of fun at an arcade. Good for you. They insisted that my cousin would have had a better time with family. You are family. And probably your little cousin's hero. Also, your friend Alex is pretty cool if he's willing to hang out with your 7-year cousin. 2. Not the asshole. I feel so bad for that poor baby, and you are an everyday hero for turning this major disappointment around. I don't want to call you an R because it was really, really sweet to take it upon yourself to cheer your cousin up. But never ever ever take a small child somewhere without clearing it with their parents first. Based on one of your other comments. Your mom knew, which is good, but it's your responsibility to communicate with your aunt in this situation. That said, I hope the adults can see this for the lovely gesture it was. Your cousin will certainly remember it. Not the asshole. Just gotta suck up whatever stupid crap they're throwing at you. You did a very good thing that your cousin will likely remember forever. As a mom of a kid who invited his whole class to his birthday, and no one showed up, you are not the asshole. This was the best thing you could have done. Your cousin will remember this birthday fondly, instead of sadly, for a really long time. Unlike my kid, who at 15, almost 16, still remembers turning 5 and no one coming. What you did was sweet, but didn't you ask the aunt if the cousin could go? You probably should have asked permission directly, but I'm still gonna go with not the asshole. I guarantee a pity party with his mother would have made him feel even worse than he felt when all of his friends abandoned him. I think the impact you had on this kid's life is overwhelmingly positive. Not the asshole. You are awesome. How your mom is yelling at you instead of beaming with pride over how amazing her 16-year-old is. For showing compassion and care to a 7-year-old blows my mind. I had a birthday party just like that little kid's. However, I did not have an amazing cousin to remedy the situation. I guarantee your little cousin will always remember this and will always treasure you. It is the small, everyday deeds of ordinary folks that keep darkness at bay. Small acts of kindness and love. Not all heroes wear capes, my man. You did right by your cousin and saved him from a life-changing humiliation. The right thing to do would be to ask an adult. Then treat your cousin. You did that. The lil guy is lucky to have you. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The yelling is temporary. Your cousin's going to remember you stepping up when it was pretty shitty for him forever. More like the hero your cousin needed right then. Am I the asshole? My fiancé's ex-wife would like to visit for the weekend and doesn't want me there. Months ago, my fiancé asked me if I would ever consider allowing his ex-wife to visit because she misses the cat they used to share. A few weeks ago he also asked what I would need to happen to be comfortable with her staying for the weekend. I asked for him for notice so that I can make sure things are tidy and there's a comfy place prepared for her to sleep. I also asked to, of course, meet her. I think that these are reasonable expectations for any house guest. A little bit about me: I have a demanding job that keeps me awake and working late at night during the week and at times on weekends. I already know that this weekend is going to be a WFH situation, and I am already physically and mentally tired. Last night, my fiancé told me that his ex-wife plans on arriving Friday evening 2-day notice, and while she acknowledges that it's nice that I'm okay with her visiting, she would like confirmation that I will not be at home for the weekend because it's bad for her mental health to meet me and she just wants a weekend with the cat. My fiancé suggested that we get a hotel and have a cute little weekend getaway while his ex-wife, who refuses to meet me, stays in our home. I'm frustrated by this for several reasons. 1. I don't think how or where I spend my time on the weekend should be dictated by a person who refuses to make eye contact with me. 2. I just want to be comfy and in my own home while I'm reluctantly working on the weekend. 3. Why should money be spent on a hotel when the other party could simply acknowledge that I have a right to exist in my home? 4. The entitlement. Her mental health can't handle meeting me. I'm absolutely mentally ill and I'm welcoming the woman who used to bang my fiancé into our home with open arms and purchased new pillows, linens to make her more comfortable. I could also never imagine asking someone to leave their home for the weekend when they're admittedly doing me a favor. 5. This would not be a cute little weekend getaway. I have to work, do laundry, and all of the other chores wonders during the weekend. I would be sitting in a hotel room working and stressing over the loads of laundry that I could be making progress on if I was able to be at home. 6. I'm not comfortable leaving a stranger alone in my home. 7. WTF. My fiancé is annoyed that I don't want to leave for the weekend because I have things to do around the house, and now his ex-wife is saying she might not come. He thinks the cat will be sad and thinks I should be okay with her staying alone in our house for the weekend. This woman hasn't attempted to see this cat in over 1.5 years. Am I the asshole? WTH did I just read? Your fiancé's ex is cat shit crazy, and your fiancé is not that far off if he thinks any of this is a normal or acceptable request. Not the asshole. If my man pulled a stunt like this, I'd tell him if he's so worried about her comfort, he can go stay with take the cat and the rest of his stuff with him. He thinks the cat will be sad. Nothing I've read today will top this. Not the asshole. Ex-wife and fiancé both are ours. The cat will not be sad. That's ridiculous. The cat didn't even know she was planning to visit and clearly hasn't seen ex-wife for some time. Not the asshole. I'm bombastic side-eyeing your fiancé. He thinks the cat will be sad and thinks I should be okay with her staying alone at our house for the weekend. Your fiancé is just as suspicious as his ex. Something is going on and you need to figure it out. Not the asshole. Sounds like your husband has created an elaborate lie. Sounds like a power play by her. He thinks the cat will be sad. WTF. Has the cat been sad for the last 1.5 years? Not the asshole at all. I'd be rethinking marrying this guy. Something isn't right about his knee-jerk defense of her ridiculous demands. Why can't she get a hotel? Why can't she just visit the cat for a couple of hours each day with your fiancé present and you working in your office, not interacting with her? The cat will be sad. WTF. There is no way in hell I'd let that woman spend a weekend alone in my home. No freaking way. This is the hill I'd die on with your fiancé and the future of your relationship. He is choosing her over you right now. Her demands are ridiculous and illogical. The cat would be sad. Why? Is a visit from his ex-mom in his cat day planner? Has he taken time off from his cat job in anticipation of the event? Not the arsehole. Something's really off here. Pull the plug on this weekend. The cat will not be sad. Lol. Not the arsehole. Girl, shut this down. Rescind the offer. And go back to living your life. I wouldn't even discuss this anymore with either of them. There is something not right about this entire situation, and I'd be digging a little deeper as to why either one of them think this is acceptable. 1.5 years and not once had this woman ever tried to see the cat. No, something's up. You don't ask a complete stranger to leave her home so you can visit a cat. Not the arsehole. OP, shut this down right now. Not the arsehole. This woman is up to no good. Tell fiancé that you will home for the weekend. If it means she cancels her trip, so be it. This does not bode well for the future of your relationship. Good luck. She doesn't want to hang out with Kat. She wants to hang out with your fiancé. Nope. 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 Sadly, not only do you have a ex problem, you now have a fiancé problem. He never should have suggested any of this. And I bet that once he has you ensconced in the hotel, she suddenly has an emergency at your house. And he has to go see her. Nope. 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 Shut this whole thing down. And relegate your fiancé to the spruced up guest room for the weekend. Not the arsehole. Does it even need to be said? These are ridiculous demands, and I would have a serious talk about your relationship with your fiancé. Do not marry this man unless this shit gets sorted out in a way that works for you too. Not his ex. The location flag can be seen from the moon. Not the arsehole. WTF is your fiancé up to? The cat will be sad. Nothing about this is normal. Why is he so deep in communication with his ex? There is no way I would let this person stay in my home alone. Nope. Just say no. If she wants to stay in your home, she has to see you and meet you, probably drink coffee with you in the morning. If I were you, I would be questioning my fiancé until I discovered why he's so invested in his ex being alone at your home. He is up to something. But I can't imagine what it is. Not the arsehole. You have a fiancé problem. That's a huge red flag. Why is your fiancé so eager to put the comfort of his ex-wife over yours and trying to kick you out of your own house so your ex-wife can stay there? Why is he so eager to accommodate his ex-wife? Why is he putting his ex-wife's feelings over yourself? Why does the ex-wife feel entitled to make those demands? The relationship between your fiancé and his ex-wife is a huge red flag. I hope you really consider marrying this person, or at least getting couples counseling. You are not his priority. This is absolutely batshit crazy and definitely has nothing to do with the cat. But it does have something to do with her trying to mark a territory.